So we spent more on the larger YouTubers and got less in return than the smaller ones.
Yeah, why you see so many campaigns that say 100% funded in the first 24 hours. It's not because that's a particularly great popular product. It's because the campaign was designed in such a way to reach that goal as quickly as possible.
Okay, he's gonna take it from here. Up, come here.
There they are.
Oh my god.
This one off the top. Before our Kickstarter campaign even ended, we knew we wanted to make a video about our experience in the process, what we would do differently a second time, and any advice that we can give to people who might be thinking about or wanting to start their own Kickstarter campaign. Mm-hmm. I designed the Shadow prototype in 2017 and 3D printed a few of them for my wife's makeup collection because it was cluttering up the counter.
Yeah. And then my sister took a picture because it was amazing, posted it on Facebook, and it went viral. But it did, though.
It gained traction.
It gained traction. A lot of traction. People wanted to buy it, so we started up an Etsy shop and began selling them over the next couple years.
After we started the shop, demand kept increasing, so I had to buy additional printers and keep them maintained.
Uh-oh, he's mad.
Plus, the 3D prints don't come off the printer exactly clean, so we needed a bit of post-processing before we shipped them out. This ended up being full-time jobs for both Michelle and myself, and I knew we couldn't keep it up. So just about 2 years after we launched the store, we decided to invest in injection mold to make the racks you see behind you.
These ones. For the eyeshadow.
Yeah. I don't think they're that clarification.
Well, we don't have the lipstick ones yet, and they're right there.
We decided to employ the services of a PR agency as we were new to the Kickstarter game, and they thought this would be a real hit. They said it could easily surpass $100,000, and what we were asking for was the sum total of what it would cost to make the injection mold and do a pretty small first run of 1,000 pieces. That total ended up being about $14,000, which may seem different to you that are familiar with our campaign because we only asked $5,000, and that was one piece of advice that I believe is still relevant from Funded Today, our agency.
This is one bit of good advice that they gave us.
Which was, you want to ask for an amount that you can feasibly reach quite quickly, because the algorithm on Kickstarter greatly benefits those that have already met their goal. So why you see so many campaigns that say 100% funded in the first 24 hours, it's not because that's a particularly great or popular product, it's because the campaign was designed in such a way to reach that goal as quickly as possible and gain additional reach on the platform.
And the creator might have funded it themselves 100% as well, because it's so good for the algorithm to hit your goal in the first 24 hours.
Yep.
And often that goal is a fraction of the actual cost to produce the product.
As it was for us.
Yes.
The actual total of our manufacturing, not including time spent reworking things, was $20,000 because we needed an additional step of polishing in order to get the finish that we promised in our Kickstarter. So Funded Today was the name of the PR agency that we went through, and we paid them $2,100 for
PR agency? Advertising agency?
PR. They call themselves Kickstarting PR.
Okay.
PR agency, and that was supposed to get us 2 very targeted articles in relevant blogs, or not blogs, on relevant sites that discuss new and upcoming products.
Yeah.
We only ever got one of those, and it was on a site irrelevant to our product category.
It could have been also like peoplemagazine.com or whatever that website is. It just
The
An
list
announcement in an article in some sort of publication online.
that was relevant, whose
relevant.
viewership was relevant to our product. However, we only got one of those, and it was in a tech article in an e-zine. It was so very clearly not our target audience. And the remainder of the money was spent on Facebook ads, blanket generic Facebook ads. The reason why we went with them is because I had been searching on Kickstarter for some months before we started our campaign and saw their name quite frequently on the bottom products that were successful. We got a number of...
And they had a good salesman.
We received a number of links, and these links went to basically every outlet that we put together, either through our own Instagram feed, through Kickstarter's own search function, through their ads, through these articles. And basically it told us the number of backers and the number of backing support that came from each platform. What we found very quickly was that we were getting 0 backers from any of Funded Today's advertisements, and quite a few from Kickstarter's own search, relatively, as well as our own Instagram page. But what really worked is partway through the campaign, we decided we needed to supplement this with something else. And so Michelle found a few small YouTube creators and decided to sponsor several of their videos. And this ended up being the only reason we got even close to, much less surpassing our goal of $5,000, was because of 2 specific videos, which were from Teresa from Teresa's Dead and Amy from Amy Loves Makeup. And there were wonderful, short, and very informative ad placements, or sponsored segments.
Yep.
And that's where the vast majority of our backers came from. So all in, it was a net loss on using Funded Today, although we now learned that if we want to do this again, we will use exclusively independently selected sponsored segments.
I also tried sponsorships with larger creators. I won't name them, but not nearly as profitable as the smaller ones that we used. Just something to throw out there if you're considering doing a sponsorship on YouTube. The bigger ones we didn't see nearly as of a return with, and the smaller ones were fabulous.
Not only that, but the larger segments were more expensive, obviously.
Yeah, so we spent more on the larger YouTubers and got less in return than the smaller ones.
Yep. I believe Teresa had something like a 1,000% return on investment.
She was the number 1, and then Amy was next.
As we touched on before, the cost of producing a product is far more than what you might expect given a campaign goal on Kickstarter. So if you plan on you're doing something yourself, and you look at all these products that are being developed for allegedly $4,000 or $5,000, $6,000, it's probably 3 or 4 or 10 times that. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about developing a product for yourself. And what's next for Shadowrex? Well, we have been quite busy. We have 2 new youngsters here, so they take up quite a bit of time. However,
quite a bit.
We intend to keep this going. One unfortunate thing is after we had our injection molded racks in hand and we're trying to sell them through our Etsy listing, we updated it to no longer have the 3D printed racks available before the start of the campaign and haven't sold them since. However, when we had these in hand, we started selling the injection molded racks through Etsy. As the word ColourPop appears in the description of our Etsy page, it did appear. ColourPop's
some legal branch, not them directly.
An affiliate of ColourPop reached out and struck it.
Reach out.
Well, they struck it.
It was just gone.
Reached out to Etsy and struck it down.
Yeah.
So that page with all of its, all of the likes, all the people that had it in their basket, all the people that had been following it or favoriting it, those associations were erased. So we had to start a new page that nobody knew about, and are slowly crawling our way back.
Some sales, but it was a lot better before they took down that one listing. It's fine. What we need to do is more sponsored videos on YouTube.
We'll work our way back. We still have plenty of inventory because we have our entire production run. We've probably sold about as many as we had sent out as backer rewards for the campaign. Maybe a little bit less. But obviously not netting out to zero. We wanted to do some cool things. Like, I have already reached out to the manufacturer about adding materials to get to an iridescent look, which is something that was quite popular during the campaign, but we didn't have the funding to explore it fully. So we would need to work through a number of our we would need to work through most of our inventory before that becomes a possibility to invest in. If we did do it, it'd be a small production run of maybe 100 or 200 pieces, and that would be it.
Well, I think more interestingly is getting the lipstick racks made. That would be awesome, I think, because it would allow people to add to their shadow rack displays. Zachary, honey. And I also think we would try to reduce the number of sizes of lipstick racks, which would make it much more usable. We wouldn't have to have 4 different sizes. Maybe just get it down to 2.
This is another manufacturing challenge, was having the really perfect press fit, like we had the 3D printing. The problem with 3D printing is the benefit of 3D printing was it was allowed to flex, and the layer lines on the prongs of the racks gave it a little bit of traction. When it is injection molded and perfectly smooth, we don't have that to rely on, which is what took so long to dial in the manufacturing on that and really get that nice fit. The manufacturing outfit we used does aviation parts for airplanes.
And we should shout them out.
Yeah. Well, Xometry is a manufacturing partner that has partnerships with other actual manufacturers all across the world. And working with them was as good as it could be for the challenges that we had.
During the pandemic.
We actually worked through 4 different molds in order to get this size right. But if we did it again, I would redesign the racks so that they don't need as precise of a fit. What I was trying to say is the manufacturing outfit we used does parts for aviation, and they had never seen the tight tolerances required by our product before. Given that the ColourPop single shock shadows can vary by as much, Super Shock shadows can vary by as much as 0.5 millimeter, which in aeronautic terms could be about a football field.
So they should have been able to
They should have been able to do it. There were additional challenges based on the inconsistency of the Super Shock shadow sizes.
Darn you, ColourPop.
So that being said, we are still here, and we're still planning on making some new product, so we don't just have the size 40 racks out there. What we'll probably be doing next is once things calm down a little bit, is make a lipstick rack that combines all the different sizes together.
All of them?
All of them. Well, the 3 round ones at least, maybe the square one. So a single rack could fit all the L sizes, which I believe are 18, 19, 20 or 17, 18, 19.
What do you mean? Millimeters?
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I think they're 18, 19, 20.
I don't remember.
But whatever they are, the next one would probably be a lipstick rack, given the amount of feedback and comments that we received.
People always...
During and following the campaign.
I get a surprising amount of messages asking, where's the lipstick racks? Can I buy a 3D printed one? The answer is no, but you can follow us on Instagram and support us when we launch our Kickstarter.
If you're interested in helping that product come to life, you can also give us a hand as well, and we'll sponsor a video of you reviewing the product once we have it in hand.
Yeah, if you have a YouTube channel, talking to our followers here, mainly on Instagram, because we're not anywhere else. If you have a channel, you're trying to do beauty content, please contact us. We would be interested in sending you maybe some racks to try out or a sponsored video.
And hopefully this next campaign would only be 3 or 4 months from the launch of the campaign to the manufacturing of the product.
We learned a lot of things making size 40. And hopefully we can skip about a year
2.
or 2 of trial and error with this next round.
Yeah. And we would be 100% grassroots on this.
Yeah, 100%. We would not utilize a service again. Not recommended, at least for us.
All right. Thanks for watching.
Is that it?
Yeah. Thank you for watching.
Zachy, thank you for watching. Yeah, let us know what you think in the comments. And did you want to do a part 2 still, or you think this is good?
I thought about doing a video explaining all the manufacturing issues that we went through, but I feel like if you're interested in that, we can certainly comment on it. But I feel like the updates that I gave throughout the follow-up of the campaign and fulfillment was pretty much everything I heard and found out was delivered to you as soon as I knew it.
Yeah.
The part we really weren't able to share was about the funding and the campaign itself.
Yeah, we told you when, you meaning our backers, when we needed to spend a little bit more of our own money and stuff like that, but we didn't ever let you know how much. Yeah. So
that number was $6,000 that we spent in order to get the polish that we promised to you and felt you deserved.
Yes. So. And so far, everyone's loved the end result, which I'm really happy with. And I use mine every day. I've got most of my single shadows in there. And I use my lipstick racks too. So hopefully we can make those. That'd be really awesome. Okay, bye.
Bye.